All right, Shalom Akim, Shalom Yasharallah. First off, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. And I want to give double honors to our apostles and our elders of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth to rule well. All right. I'm the brother Izar out here in Midland, Texas. And I just want to go into something that, came into my spirit, concerning what we ought to do and what people ought to look out for. And I'm talking to the so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, which are the true children of the Most High, the children of Israel, of the 12 tribes. All right. So that's who this really is concerning to, as to what we ought to do, what we ought to listen to. All right. Because it's not just about knowing that you're a Hebrew Israelite and then everything's good. There's a whole role that we have to eat, man. And that's the scriptures, all right? And the scriptures are filled with prophecy. And that's what we ought to do, to prophesy. So let me get into it real quick. This is Matthew 16 and verse 1. It says, the Pharisees also with the Sadducees came, and tempting, desired him that he should show them a sign from heaven. All right? So if you're a Pharisee, are you wicked? No. All right, because the Pharisees were actually teachers. That doesn't mean that they were, because you're a Pharisee, now you're wicked, and that's not what that's talking about, man. All right, which a lot of people want to call, wicked people Pharisees. So going into the word Pharisees is Strong's G 5330, and it says a sect that seems to have started after the Jewish exile. It says, in addition to Old Testament books, the Pharisees recognized in oral tradition a standard of belief and life. All right, so they would teach the law. Yahweh Shai never said not to listen to them, not to do the law, not to do any of that. All right, what he said was that they were wicked and hypocrites. All right, they were hypocritical because they would teach the law and they would not keep the law. You see, they would teach certain things and they wouldn't go after what they were doing. You see, so that's why Yahweh Shai said, cleanse the inside of the cup first and then the outside. Because he would say that the Pharisees and scribes, they would clean the outside in appearance to look nice and pretty, but the inside was wicked. It was dead. There was no life. You see? So they would teach the laws, all right, but they wouldn't keep the laws and they wouldn't believe in the Messiah. You see, so they weren't Messianic. That means to believe in the Messiah. All right. It says, he answered and said unto them, when it is evening, ye say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning, it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites. You see, so he would call them hypocrites. It says, ye can discern the face of the sky, but ye cannot discern the signs of the times. You see? So same thing with nowadays, man. Same thing with nowadays. All right. How can you tell if we're in a wicked world? All right. Well, one, it doesn't take that much to understand that we're in wicked times, man. Two, all right, you have to go into scripture to realize that we're not in any, happy times, man. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 10 and verse 1. A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of prudent man is well ordered. All right, so we know that this world is not well ordered, because if it was well ordered, the women would be under the men, all right, subjective under their men, and the men will be subjective, Israel, all right, talking about Israel, really the whole world will be subject unto, one, the leaders of Israel, and two, all right, going from bottom to top, a chain of command, which would be the leaders of Israel, Yahweh Shai, and Yahweh at the very top. All right. So really, to sum it all up, Yahweh would be ruling over this kingdom, over this world, and there would be order established, perfect balance. All right. Righteousness, which we don't see. It says, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers, and what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are they that dwell therein. All right. So we know that we're not living in good times. We know we're not living in peaceful times. We know we're not living in righteousness. Why? Because there's death going on. All right. There's killings, there's wars, rumors of wars. You see? The king hates his people. All right. There's mixing of nations, especially here in America, mixing of different nations, which one, that's not ordered. All right. Because Israel should be on top. All right. And there's nobody below Israel. You see? Well, really, everybody else is below Israel, but I'm saying second in command. There is no second in command. All right? It's Israel at the very top, and they rule over everything. Because they're a nation of priests, nation of holy people, a nation of peculiar people unto the Most High. You see? It says, and the unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. All right? And that's what we see here. There's no righteousness established. So you can't say that we're not living in those times. All right. So like there's noise coming. But it says Matthew 16:1. So like in Matthew 16:3, it says at the very end, O ye hypocrites, ye can discern the face of the sky. So you have these prognosticators, you have these predictors, all right, saying, okay, well, according to the sky, it's going to rain at around 5 o'clock in the afternoon. All right. It's going to be mostly sunny. You know, it's going to be about 92 degrees outside. And then at the end of the day, it's going to, you know, cool down to the 70s. And then later at night, it's going to be in the 60s and it's going to rain. And, you know, whatever the case may be. And they predict that. And then it actually comes to pass around the same time that they said. You see? So back then, our people could look up in the sky and be like, yo, this looks like it's even up to date. All right. Even up to date, when you see clouds around, you're like, you know what? I think it's going to rain around, you know, maybe in a few hours. And then in a few hours, it starts raining. All right. So Yahushua was telling them, yo, you can tell when it's going to rain. All right. You can tell when it's going to be really sunny the next day, or if it's actually going to rain in the morning. All right. You can tell all these things, but you can't discern the times. All right. You can't discern the times. And what were those times? That the Messiah was here, man. All right. The Son of the living power was here. The Prince of everything, the King of Kings, man. All right. Yahushua was walking around that time, and there was people that were saying, no, you're not it. And now you have people that say, oh, I believe in the Messiah. And then you have the prophets that are out here teaching, saying, come to us. All right. Come to Yahushua HaMashiach. Come to the Most High Yahweh and be saved. Nah, you guys ain't it. It's the same people. I'm sure around the time of Yahushua, they were like, yeah, there is going to be a prophet that's going to come, and he is going to be the Messiah. All right. He is the Son of the Most High, but you're not it. Same thing with these people. Yeah, there's going to be prophets. Yeah, there's going to be people preaching. Yeah, there's going to be people sent by the Most High, but you're not it. And that's how they're looking at it, man. It says, verse 4, a wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign. And they want us to give those signs, man. They're like, all right, if you guys are the prophets, make some fire appear right next to you. Make the chariot of the Most High appear right next to you. Make the angels come down and appear before us so that we can believe. That's what they want. They want a sign. All right, make some fire out of your fingers. Snap your fingers and make half of the rocks disappear. You see what I'm saying? They want something marvelous to be shown to them in order to believe. And is that faith? That ain't faith. All right. Faith isn't something that you can just automatically have. It's something that is given to you. The Most High gives you that increase, you know. And going back to the topic of the wicked Pharisees and wicked scribes, you know, Peter, all right, Peter, whenever the Gentiles, which were Israelites, or which are Israelites, all right, now we were all considered Gentiles, and now we are coming back to our power. So there's not one Israelite that can be saying to another Israelite, you know, you have to keep this, and that, besides Nate and IUIC. That's a perfect example of Pharisees, wicked Pharisees and wicked scribes. All right. But, you know, Peter was telling them, well, you have to keep the law to the full of the law, you know, to the full of the scriptures, telling the Gentiles that were barely coming in, leaving their wicked ways, you know. And Paul was like, yo, hold up. You can't even keep the law to the perfection. Nobody, none of us that were grown up as Israelites, that were growing up as Jews, that we knew our power, none of us can keep the law to the perfection. You see what I'm saying? So he was like, why are you telling them to keep the law to the perfection? And it's beautiful because when I learned that, I realized that I was the exact same way as those Israelites that were barely coming in from their wicked ways. Because when I first came into this truth, I wasn't just, okay, the Sabbath is this day, and then 7 days after that is a Sabbath, and then 7 days after that is a Sabbath, and then another 7 is a Sabbath, and then another 7, and then 1 day, which is 8 days, is going to be the new Sabbath. I didn't know any of that, all right? I didn't know any of that. I didn't even know when the Sabbaths were. I didn't know it had to do with the new moon, which the new moon is when the sky is completely dark, all right? I didn't know that. I didn't know any of that, you know? There's a lot of things that I didn't know when I first came into the truth. And did I follow after those ways? I didn't, because I didn't know them. So what was I saved by then? My works? Was I saved by my faith? Yeah, it was through faith, because I had faith in Yahweh Shai. I had faith in Yahweh, all right? And through that, they established me. They grew my faith from the inside, all right? And as I became a man on the inside spiritually, guess what? My counterpart, my physical, all right, my body followed after, and I started keeping the laws to the best of my ability, you know, which I had looked up the word counterpart, and it says a person or thing closely resembling another, especially in function, all right? So how my spirit is functioning, which is righteousness, so is my body. My body follows after my spirit working in righteousness, all right? Lord willing, I'm part of that number, all right? And my works are of effect to my life, you know, and it brings forth my salvation, Lord willing. But if not, then I'm going to be found wicked, you know, point blank period. That's just how it goes, man. You know, a copy, a duplicate, you see? Law, see that? Number three, law, a duplicate or copy of an indenture, all right? And that's the law. The law was created for what? The counterpart of the spiritual, which is what? The body, all right? It says, continue, let me read verse 4 again. Matthew 16:4, a wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, all right? So it's not about the physical. It's not about, okay, look, he made a tree grow out of the middle of the street. This man is a prophet. No, all right? Hell no. That's not what it is. It's about the faith. And the faith really only goes out to the elect, all right? Nobody else is going to receive the faith. If you come into the faith and you're here for 5 years and then you drop out, guess what? You were never in the faith, all right? And that's a terrible, terrible, fearful thing to be in, you know? To be found not to be in the faith of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, to be rejected by the Most High, that's a fearful thing, man. All right? It says, to like it, and there shall no sign be given unto it, all right? Which is this generation right now, all right? It was the same generation back then when Yahweh Shai was around. It says, but the sign of the prophet Jonas, and he left them and departed. Now, what is the sign of the prophet Jonas? Well, let's go to who Jonah was, all right? Which is the same thing as Jonas, all right? Jonah or Jonas is the same given in the Hebrew Bible to a prophet of the northern kingdom of Israel in about 8th century BCE. So about 800 years before the Common Era, or before the Messianic period, all right? It said he is in Salakia. It says he is the eponymous central figure of the book of Jonah, in which he is called upon by the Most High to travel to Nineveh and warn its residents of impending divine wrath. That is the sign that you should be looking for. That's it right there. Point blank period. The sign of Jonas. What was Jonas doing? Prophesying, teaching, being a preacher. To preach means to prophesy. All right? So to be a prophet. That was the sign of Jonah. Jonah went to Nineveh, all right, which we're in Babylon the Great right now, America, prophesying, telling our people, the northern kingdom, the southern kingdom, the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Americans, you are the children of the Most High. Come back to your power before the wrath comes and destroys you, annihilate 2/3 of you Israelites. All right? That is what we're here to say. That is what we're here to preach and teach and tell the people. Let them know. You know? I believe it was the book of Isaiah. I think it was chapter 58. Yep. Isaiah 58:1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions and the house of Jacob their sins. And that's what we ought to do, man. Prophesy. All right. It is nice to have, that ability to speak the Lashawan Kodash, to be fluent, to know these words, to know this and that, to know certain breakdowns. All right. It's nice to know a little extra stuff. It's good. It's good. All right. It's good stuff, But like Paul said, it is better. All right. It is better to prophesy. Elder Tahar had just brought this out, I believe, maybe yesterday, if not a couple days ago. All right. When he said, no. You know what? It was yesterday, and it was the brother. Oh man, I can't remember where he's from, but the brothers in Dallas posted up his video. All right. And he was talking about not to be so into, also Elder Yashawamba from Dallas was mentioning, stop trying to make these doctrines happen. Stop trying to make certain doctrines and be so deep into the scriptures, and do something simple. All right. Like prophesy. The spirit of a prophet is given to the prophets. So before we come into this world, the Most High already ordains you to be a prophet. So if you don't have it, then guess what? You don't fucking have it, man. All right. Stop trying to, growing up, there was this movie called Mean Girls. All right. And you had this, one of the girls was always trying to make the word fetch be a thing. All right. And the leader of them would be pissed off at her and say, basically shut the hell up, stop trying to make fetch happen. All right. And that's how I see it, man. You guys are trying to make fetch happen. All right. You guys are trying to make this word, this thing cool. You guys are trying to make certain things cool. And that's not what this word is about. Salakia. That's not what this word is about, man. All right. This word is about preaching the truth. All right. As a witness, waking up the elect, and getting the hell out of here, man. All right. We're not here to make millions of subscribers. We're not here to get, all these thousands of likes on posts and on videos. We're not here to grow the lusts of the flesh. We're not here for any of that. We're here to simply wake up the elect, all right? Get those diamonds in the rough, and kick the rocks away, man. That's what we're really here for those diamonds. We're not here for those pieces of rock that want nothing but to be looked at as a big rock, So it says, yet they seek me daily and delight to know my ways, as a nation that did righteousness and forsook not the ordinances of their power. And that's what we're looking for, those righteous men. You see, we're not looking for people to just be, oh, well, show me where it says that in the scriptures that I'm supposed to be preaching. Show me right now where it says that in the scripture. Being prideful as fuck. We're not looking for those people. All right, we're looking for sincere, quiet, meekness in mind. All right, humble. That's what we're looking for, man. There was a lot of things when I came to this truth that I didn't know a damn thing about. And when I would hear, I'm like, yo, that's a little extreme, man. What they're teaching is a little hard and extreme. But I wouldn't close my ears. I wouldn't say, no, that's wrong. All right, you guys are off. I'm leaving. I wouldn't say that. Why? Because they were coming out of the scriptures. And if you believe and you have faith that the Most High is true, then you have to have faith that this word is true. All right? And when you have faith that the word is true, and brothers are bringing out words from the scriptures, then it can't be anything else but true. All right? So it says, they ask of me, Salakia. Verse 2, they ask of me the ordinances of justice. They take delight in approaching to the Most High Yahweh. You see, and that's how Israel, the elect, are. They see that sweetness of honey when you read the scriptures and you know what you're listening to, and you know what you're reading, and you're hearing brothers talk and speak, and it's beautiful to you, and it hits you, and it just takes you home, and you're like, damn, I want to go harder for this truth, man. That's what it's all about. All right. It's not about, I hope I get 10,000 bitches by my side, and that's going after something completely different, man. Yeah, it's a good thing to envision the kingdom of heaven, and we know we're gonna have a lot of women. We know we're gonna have some badass mansions. We know we're gonna have a badass kingdom. We know everything is gonna be badass. All right, and it's beautiful in itself. But what is needful is to have faith in this truth. What is needful is to have faith in what you're doing, which is prophesying out in the highways and the hedges. It is a needful thing, man. Because without the prophets, guess what? If Elder Tahar and Elder Rakah and Elder Ariamlab and Elder Gabar, if they never went out and they never continued in the truth, guess what? We wouldn't wake up. All right? If Abba Bivens, all right, if he didn't continue in the truth and if he didn't continue teaching what he taught, then guess what? None of us would be awake right now. So what? Now you can be just a homebody Israelite and teach your couch? No, that's not the case, man. It's not about kicking back. It's not about staying in your house. It's not about, just teaching yourself. It's about waking up the elect. That's why Yahushua told Peter, "Lovest thou me?" And he said, "Yea, Lord, thou knowest." And he asked him 3 times. And he gave him the same answer every single time. If you love me, feed my sheep. Feed the flock. Which is what you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the election out there in this world, man. Scattered throughout the 4 corners of the earth. That's what we're supposed to be teaching, prophesying, telling them, letting them know what's coming, man. All right? It says, wherefore have we afflicted our soul, and thou takest no knowledge? Behold, in the day of your fast, ye find pleasure, and exact all your labors. All right? Behold, Salakia. Give me a second. It says, behold, ye fast for strife and debate, and to smite with the first of wickedness. Ye shall not fast as ye do this day, to make your voice to be heard on high, as it's such a fast that I have chosen, a day for a man to afflict his soul. Is it to bow down his head as a bulrush, and to spread sackcloth and ashes under him? Wilt thou call this a fast, an acceptable day unto Yahweh? Is not this the fast that I have chosen? To loose the bands of wickedness, to undo the heavy burdens, and to let the oppressed go free, and that ye break every yoke. All right, so we're supposed to wake up the elect. We're supposed to teach, seek your own salvation with fear and trembling. All right, but to be part of that salvation, you have to feel the whole spectrum. All right, it's not just you. No, I'm working on myself, man. I gotta help myself. I gotta do this for myself. No, being part of that election and seeking your own salvation is also seeking others' salvations, man. All right, seeking others to come into the fold of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Why else would Peter and all the apostles, Apostle Paul, Apostle Peter, all right, Thomas, Matthew, Mark, John the Baptist, why else would they go out and teach? Why else would they go out and preach? Why would Jeremiah do it? Why would Isaiah do it? Why would Nahum do it? Habakkuk, Daniel. Why would they all do that if they were seeking their own life, seeking their own salvation? Meaning only themselves, only being part of their own body. That's not what the scriptures say. Being part of the body and seeking your own salvation is looking after your own brother, man. Brother in this truth. You see what I'm saying? Looking for people to wake up. And of course, you may teach somebody, but as always, the Most High gives that increase, So this generation is looking for a sign, not knowing that the sign is right in front of them when they pass by them in the highways and the hedges. All right? It says, is it not the deal thy bread to the hungry? All right? Now, what is the bread? What is the bread? All right? The body. You see? Yahushua told us to do that in remembrance of him. drink his blood, and eat his body, that's accepting the blood of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, all right? And reading the scriptures, teaching the scriptures, breaking bread, teaching other people. It says, verse 7, is not to deal thy bread to the hungry. Now, who are the hungry? The elect, the ones that are being taught. You see? And the bread is the scriptures. And that thou bring the poor that are cast out to thy house. Who are the poor? The Israelites. They're at the bottom of the bottom, man. So we're supposed to pick them up, all right, through this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Pick them up and take them to the house of the Most High, which is what? Your temple. You are the temple. You are the temple of the Most High. Like it says in Isaiah, does he dwell in buildings? No. All right. The earth is his footstool, and the heavens is his throne. What house will we build him that he's going to fit inside? None. But he built himself a house, and that's us. All right. And as the house of the Most High, we ought to act like the house of the Most High, being holy, being separate from all these other nations, being separate from these other doctrines, man. You know, it says, and when thou seest the naked, that thou cover him. And how are we naked? But not having this truth. So when we see a naked, all right, somebody naked, we let them know about this truth. If they don't accept it, then, you know, keep going. If they accept it, then we try and cover them. You see, it says, and that thou hide not thyself from thine own flesh. It says, then shall thy light break forth as the morning. All right. So like I was saying, when you come into this truth, it's all about faith. All right. It's always going to be about faith. But there's also things that are added on to the faith that you have. You know, according to the increase that the Most High gives you, more and more shows out. You know, it says, and thine health shall spring forth speedily, and thy righteousness shall go before thee, and the glory of the Most High Yahweh shall be thy reward. You see that? So when you come into this truth, little by little, you're being grown. So like little by little, you're being grown in this truth. And eventually the light breaks forth, and then you shine. You know? So let me end it with this one in Proverbs. Oh. Damn. Let me start off at verse 7, and then I'm going to just jump down. It says, Proverbs 1:7, the fear of Yahweh is the beginning of knowledge. You see? So when you fear the Most High, you have faith that he is. Like it says in the scriptures, they that come to the Lord must believe that he is, and that's his name, Yahweh. He is, he exists, he is to be. You see? So fearing the Most High, knowing that you're going against the Most High, should put some fear in you. All right? If it doesn't, you should probably pray about it, fast about it, all right? And return to your power, man. It says, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. So that's why it's not meant for everybody, because there's a lot of foolishness in this earth. All right? We go out to the highways and the hedges. People hear us teach this truth, and they laugh, smirk, all right? Mock, scoff, point fingers and smile, walk away. All right, it says, my son, hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother. All right, so wisdom, knowledge, understanding would be your mother. And who is your father? Those that are teaching you this truth, man. All right, those that are teaching you this truth. It says, my sinner, if sinners, Salakia, my son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not. If they say, come with us, let us lay wait for blood. Let us look privately for the innocent without cause. Let us swallow them up alive as the grave. All right, which means hell. It says, and whole as those that go down into the pit. We shall find all precious substance. We shall fill our houses with spoil. So you're not supposed to be looking for riches in this earth, man. And that's what people look for. All right, they look for those signs. Oh, TD Jakes has a big old mansion, a big ass jet, so he must be a man of the Lord. I want my prophet to be looking nice and neat. All right, so we don't feel bad for you guys that are being taught under these people that have these big ass mansions and these nice ass Ferraris and Lamborghinis. Those are only for rich people, man. All right, when you buy those big ass brand name cars, that's for rich ass people, man, that afford to pay that shit in cash. not have payments, and then afford a big ass house payment. You see? So that's what you guys look for. You look for men that look nice. You're not looking for men that might look scruffy, but they have the truth. You know? So let me jump down to verse 19. So are the ways of everyone that is greedy of gain, which taketh away the life of the owners thereof. All right? It says, wisdom crieth without. She uttereth. All right, let me look at that up. Let me look that one up. It says, wisdom crieth without. She uttereth her voice in the streets. So let's look at the word utter. To give, put, set, to give, bestow, grant, permit, ascribe, employ, devote, consecrate, dedicate, pay, wages, sell, exchange, lend, commit, entrust, give over, deliver up, yield, produce, occasion, produce, requite to, report, mention, utter, stretch out, extend. You see? So all those things are synonyms as to what is being done. When you utter your voice in the streets, that means you're extending your hand, letting people know what is coming, grabbing onto people and bringing them into the marriage, man. You see? It says, she crieth in the chief place of concourse. You see? She crieth in the chief place of concourse. You know? So in a dwelling place, man, going out to the highways and the hedges where everybody's walking by, on a market, crying these words of wisdom. You know, like we read in Isaiah 58. Blow you the trumpet in Israel, man. Let him know their transgression. Let Jacob know what they've done. Bring Jacob back to their power. You know? It says, in the openings of the gates in the city, she uttereth her words, saying, how long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. You see? Because I have called and ye refuse. Now, how does the Most High call, man? How does he call? Well, let's go to Hebrews chapter 1, verse 1. It says, the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, who at sundry times and in diverse manners spake in time past unto the fathers by the prophets. You see? The signs of Jonah. Jonah was what? A prophet. Speaking unto the people. You know? So back at Proverbs chapter 1 and verse 23. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you, and I will make known my words unto you. You see? So by knowing this wisdom, knowledge, understanding, you know the words of the Most High. You know what you're supposed to communicate to Israel, and you know your instructions. You're giving your instructions, you know? So let me go to Job 14, and I'm going to end it at 14 and 15, I believe. Job 14 and 15, thou shalt call, and I will answer thee. Thou wilt have a desire to the work of thine hands. And that's what's given to us, a desire. The Most High desires us to work the work of his hands, to work what he wants us to work. Not what we want, but what he wants. For now thou numberest my step, dost thou not watch over my sin? My transgression is sealed up in a bag, and thou sowest up my iniquity. And surely the mountain fallen cometh to naught, and the rock is removed out of its place. All right. That says, that's it on that. All right. That's it on that. But on verse 15, it says, thou shalt call. How did he call you? Through a brother, through a prophet. All right. You didn't just wake up one day and say, you know what? I'm going to praise Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and use those names from now on. All right. And I'm going to start reading the scripture precept upon precept without ever touching the book. It doesn't happen like that. All right. You hear instruction through his prophets, man. And that's what's given to us. All right. That's the sign that's given to this generation. The sign of a prophet. All right. Teaching you this truth in all sincerity. So with that, Akim, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. And I want to give double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us all this truth to rule well. All right. Shalom to you brothers out there. striving for the hopeful elect, just keep doing the simple things, man. Don't go too deep into, something that you don't know. And that's something that the brother has always taught me, So shalom, stay strong out there.